It's funny, you know that empire is collapsing and that the system is failing when both parties just can't help but hand wins back to the other. So, like the Republicans take a bath on Tuesday, the Democrats have all the leverage, and then they give it up, right, and cave in the shutdown fight, and then you think, oh well, the Republicans have a second chance now, but then boom, this happens. Donald Trump goes on the Laura Ingraham show on Fox News. Now, this is as friendly an interview as you could possibly imagine if you're Donald Trump. And he completely botched it. I mean, I've never seen an interview that should have gone so well go so badly. I mean, Biden had a couple of stinkers on MSNBC, but his brain was gone. So it's hard to really count that. This is just extraordinary. So here you can get a sense of how Laura Ingraham is trying her best to make this go as well for Donald Trump as she can by citing debunked statistics about the Walmart turkey Thanksgiving dinner being cheaper. And he steps on it.
The economy was listed as a top concern. I know you know this for voters in New Jersey, New York, Virginia. I know you've been all over the affordability issue today and for the last several months. Eggs, gas, dinner costs for Thanksgiving way down, but other things, as you noted, have gone up. Okay, so the Thanksgiving cost is not way down. Okay, so that just gives you an idea of how hard she's trying to give him a softball interview. We went into it on the last show. You can watch the segment. The dinner is 25% cheaper, but 50% as big. So it's actually, I think, 33% more expensive when you crush all the numbers. Yes. Or 50% more expensive, rather. Right. I think that's the right math. But anyway, here's how the rest of this goes. Eggs, gas, dinner costs for Thanksgiving way down, but other things, as you noted, have gone up. Beef, coffee,
they're going to come
auto
down
repairs.
Very
he actually shushes her. Hey, shh. Don't say costs is gone. Don't say costs is gone. Shh. They're going to come down shortly.
And yes, as a daily coffee drinker, what it costs to get the San Francisco Bay coffee that I order, so it's probably about 40% more expensive.
Yeah, it's brutal. Coffee is terrible. Like you got to drink you can only get garbage coffee for what you used to pay for like medium tier coffee.
Yes.
The garbage coffee now goes for what the mid tier coffee used to be. Eggs, gas, dinner costs for Thanksgiving way down, but other things, as you noted, have gone up. Beef, coffee,
they're going to come
auto
down
repairs.
Very
oh, they're going to.
Is this a voter perception issue of the economy, or is there more that needs to be done by Republicans on Capitol Hill, or done in terms of policy?
More than anything else, it's a con job by the Democrats.
So there you go. There you go. So she's clearly trying her best. Yeah. Is this a perception issue? Yeah. Look, some things have come way down, but voters are still concerned. Look, it's Laura Ingraham. This is as partisan.
She didn't even call him out on the Thanksgiving thing.
No. In fact, she ran cover for him on the Thanksgiving thing. She said the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, that's
cheaper.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
She backed him up on it.
Exactly. So this is she's trying as hard as she can to manufacture consent, and he still blows it. So here's a couple minutes later. Trump, the economy is as strong as it's ever been.
It's up. The economy is the strongest it's ever been. You asked me, just to go back to the beginning of your question, you talked about prices. We're down on energy. We're down on interest rate. Interest rates are down despite the Fed. Now, if we had a normal person at the Fed, would have really low interest rates, and we will soon have that. We'll have somebody that's.
Then why are people saying they're anxious about the economy? Why are they saying that?
I don't know that they are saying. I think polls are fake. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We will have over $20 trillion come into our economy, and it's largely because of my election, but it's also largely because of tariffs.
The tariffs, by the way, could get struck down by the Supreme Court. In fact, it looks like they're going to. But
according to reporting, the justices sounded very skeptical of the government's argument.
Yeah, and I don't even think it was looking like 5-4. I think it's looking like 6-3.
That will have somebody that's.
Then why are people saying they're anxious about the economy? Why are they saying that?
I don't know that they are saying. I think polls are fake. We have the
polls are fake. Polls are fake. Were the election results fake? Took a bath in Virginia. Took a bath in New Jersey. Took a bath in Georgia, where Democrats won a statewide race by over 20 points. Took a bath in Pennsylvania, where liberals swept the Supreme Court races. Those are fake. let's say the polls are fake. They're not, but let's say they are. Are you saying the election results were fake? Like, you just had an election.
He would say that.
Numbers. Yeah.
Well, he would say that if you pressed him on that.
He'd say that too.
There are all kinds of people who are not supposed to be voting. It's crazy. You had Mamdani. I heard he was on the ballot 8 times.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying he was on the ballot twice, which means that he really should have only gotten 25% instead of 50 because he was on the ballot twice. So really, Cuomo should have won. And we'll look at New Jersey and Virginia. We're going to look into that.
Media won't tell you that.
Right. Right. Exactly. So there you go. The polls are fake and people are loving the economy. It's the best it's ever been. So Ingram presses more because, okay, so for those who missed it, Trump's brilliant idea now to boost home ownership is to make 50-year mortgages an option. So basically you'll owe the bank money forever and the bank will be cashing in on you forever until you die. Right. Exactly.
I mean, it's a good deal if you're 70.
Yeah. It is a good deal if you're 70. That's true. Take out a 50-year mortgage at 75 years old. But here's Laura Ingraham pressing him on that.
A lot of reach. And another thing that your administration is trying to tackle, many Americans, the average age of first-time home buyers are now up to age 40, which is sad. The country you and I grew up in.
I inherited that. Look, you have to understand.
Right, but let me get to the question, though, because your housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years. And what it means is you pay
30 to see. She has to fact check him. He said, "This is what a bullshitter this guy is." I mean, it's so you go from 40 to 50. Donald Trump spent his life in real estate.
Right.
You think he doesn't know he's lying when he throws out 40? You think that's just an innocent, misstatement?
That is one thing you cannot attribute to his idiocy.
Right.
There's no fucking way that guy doesn't have right off the tip of his tongue mortgage rate terms.
Right. You think that was just an innocent mistake? He said 40 instead of 30. A guy who spent his life in real estate, a guy whose father spent his life in real estate, just from 40 to 50. That is a clear and deliberate attempt to fudge the numbers. So deliberate that Laura Ingraham felt out of a sense of self-respect that she had to call him on it.
Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years, and what it means is you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50.
They don't have a 40.
You pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit. But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates, and I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months.
Okay, so of course you're doubling the extent of the mortgage. And here, Thomas Massey for the win. How is here enjoy this 50-year mortgage different from you will own nothing and you will like it? Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Give that man a cigar. I even have a cigar right here I can give him. And that's not just a prop for the show. Thomas Massey says he continues on. After paying on a home for 5 years, the rate is 7% on a 50-year mortgage. You will have paid only 1.3% of the principal. So if you needed a 50-year loan, you probably didn't put much down at closing. Seems like a recipe for default, yes, and no ability to move for better jobs or school. Yes, on top of that, massive profits for the banks because they're going to get to juice you for the interest. Absolutely, 100%. Wall Street Mave says no end to H-1Bs, deportations comparable to Obama, and not getting at the root causes of the cost of living crisis is how we'll get demolished in the midterms and lose the White House in 2028. Yes. Eric Blair says for a guy
and that's a shell account.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. For a guy who went to Wharton and made most of his money in real estate, he doesn't seem to have any grasp of real estate finance. A 50-year mortgage will never exist. No, he has a grasp of it. He's lying. He's bullshitting. He's full of garbage because one thing the guy has also been his entire life is a liar. And that is what he has spent his life doing is bullshitting people. But nothing got the MAGA base going like this. This is what's so amazing about the way Trump has really just imploded in this first year. he's done so much extreme shit to scare the moderates into voting for Democrats. But at the same time, he's also betrayed the diehard MAGA base on so many different issues that depress turnout, like Epstein, like the H-1B visas, and this. So nothing got the chuds more upset with him than this. Trump says 600,000 Chinese students coming to the U.S. is a pro-MAGA stance because you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business otherwise. And he ends insisting that he knows what MAGA wants better than anybody else. So this is a couple minutes, but it's definitely worth watching.
Not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
You would have the
of the United States?
Yeah, I
So
thought they
what?
were the enemy.
I thought they were the
enemy.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I thought you hate all these elite academic institutions, right?
Yeah. I mean, conservatives rail against colleges, as a matter of habit. And so do I, for different reasons, although not necessarily for different reasons. I mean, Charlie Kirk didn't go to college. He famously said college was a scam. I agreed with that 100%. It's a populist attitude that they have toward colleges, which you are not echoing here. Instead, you're saying we have to import more than 500,000 Chinese students to save these elite universities that we hate from going out of business. Like, you couldn't strike out more if you tried.
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system
they
of
take a lot of
colleges.
Chinese. What?
Like, this is brutal.
Really? That's where all the Chinese students are going, Howard.
Yeah, right.
They're going to Howard.
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
the fuck is he even talking about?
No, it's brutal. This is brutal.
And universities would
So
go
we're
down the
dependent on
tubes.
China to keep our
No, not
university
China,
system
but I think it's good to have. I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the
They're
world.
not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our
great.
intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
I mean, really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed.
We've had a lot of problems with the French. I love that line. Hey, we've had a lot of problems. I don't know if the French are better than I don't know. We've had a lot of problems with the French. A lot of problems.
We have a lot of people. They drop dead from eating those French fries. It's very bad for their heart. I think that was what they call a Trojan horse.
They don't
gave us
shave
those French fries to kill us.
You know, the women, they don't shave their armpits. They don't shave wherever, Laura, I know you're not French. Wink, wink. Roger showed me some of the videos he had installed in the women's bathroom here a few years back before everything went woke. And I could tell you are not French. I could tell you that. But yeah, no, they're dirty. They smell with the wine and the chocolate and the cheese. They're horrible.
When me and my friend Jeffrey, when we would go after underage girls, we were very shocked because one of the reasons we liked them was no hair. But with the French one,
Yeah, right. The French, hair everywhere.
Even they had it.
The French, hair everywhere. Everywhere you look, horrible. The Chinese are not as hairy as
out
the
of
French.
their eyes,
I don't know if you knew
wherever.
that. One thing I noticed when I was running those beauty pageants for teenagers is the Chinese not as hairy as the French. That I can tell you. That
No
I can
hair.
Tell you.
They're hairless, and they're very flexible. You ever see their gymnasts? Well, enough said.
Enough said.
French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where, they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. The students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive. But at the same time, I know you and I disagree.
Yeah.
We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. You know, people are shocked. Remember, Hillary Clinton said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months. I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast, and it'll be violent. But you know what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, you don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what your base wants. I'm pretty sure like that is like on the short list of things MAGA wants is fewer foreigners coming to our woke colleges. I'm pretty sure if you were to play like if you were to put like a Family Feud type list, I think that would be probably definitely in the top 10, maybe even in the top 5. Yeah.
And with the added bonus of burning the woke universities down.
Right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what they voted for. Not whatever this is.
The Chinese are generally not coming here to go to state school.
Right. No, exactly. No, they're coming to go to the woke elite universities. Exactly. So that's what they voted for. Not whatever this is.
I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. Well, not anymore, you don't. Doesn't get more MAGA than Mike Flynn. And Mike Flynn says, sorry, Mr. President, if we didn't allow 600,000 Chinese spies to steal even more intellectual property and other ideas about how to dominate our way of life, it wouldn't make a dent in U.S. colleges and universities. The Chinese literally wrote the book on unrestricted warfare, a book I suggest is made mandatory reading for all the leaders within the administration. So when an interview with Laura Ingraham is getting roasted by Mike Flynn, you know you failed about as hard as you possibly can. Here's Daniel Horowitz, who's an editor at The Blaze. Once again, right-wing outlet, Glenn Beck's outlet, calls this regarded, one word. Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen, which is a conservative-oriented polling outfit. What? Yeah, people were in shock about this. Here's Kangman Lee says, I don't regret voting for Trump because Kamala was infinitely worse on all accounts. But man, this is disappointing. And he continues, the amount of mental gymnastics it takes to say allowing 600,000 foreigners to fill up colleges in America is America first is insane. Clint Russell, libertarian, backed Trump in the general election. Shutting down half of the colleges would be a good start. Trump seems to be walking back every single campaign promise. It's honestly stunning how brazen it all is. It is. And I thought it would be bad, but I didn't think it would be, crashing out on the Laura Ingraham show bad. Spitfire says, we need a massive course correction. This ain't it. And Nick Stelzner says, at this point, I think Republicans should impeach him. Yes, that's what he's saying. So that is what brings me to sort of my sort of macro take on this is I do think at this point, and this won't happen, obviously, but I mean, first of all, the Republicans would never vote to impeach him. But if the Republicans were smart, I think they would do with Trump what the Democrats should have done with Joe Biden, which is figure out a way to get him to like gracefully exit. He's old, he's sick or something. He can't finish. Round of applause. Thank you for your service. Get him to retire gracefully. This way you get Vance in there with some chance at least rewriting some kind of narrative. Give him the advantage of incumbency going into 2028. Because, look, the Democrats look golden for the midterms, obviously, but they don't look so golden for 2028 for a couple reasons. Because you can't win a presidential election by default the way you can win a midterm by default. Democrats are going to have to rally behind a leader with a unifying vision. It's going to be very difficult. One, because the party is very divided. Two, because all of their top leaders now suck. One is cringier than the next. Buttigieg, Newsom, Kamala, AOC, Warren, they're all horrible. So if the Republicans can course correct, they do have a chance at 2028 if they figure out a way for Donald Trump to, gracefully
get out of the way,
step aside, because this clearly is not working. I mean, this is over. I mean, he is just washed. If you can't nail an interview with Laura Ingraham, if you're getting dragged by your own base, the Wall Street Maves account, Michael Flynn, all these people, everybody I just noted, with the exception, ironically, of this guy who didn't vote for Trump, but he's giving them free advice. These are all Trump supporters. I just showed you. He's the editor of The Blaze. I mean, he's done. It's over. It's over. Here's the Rasmussen guy says, the night of the fan mail. So this was a response he got last night. I'll join the club here. Completely done with MAGA and Trump. The federal government should freeze assets of illegals tomorrow and self-deportations will go through the roof. I don't agree with that, obviously, but they make a point. Confiscate houses, cars, accounts. ICE would need a fraction of the people if you did that. There is much low-hanging fruit. Cancel H-1B. Stop with this 100K complex-free nonsense. I don't know what he's talking about there. Here's the thing. Arrest a CEO or two for keeping their DEI departments active and charge them with discrimination. What about arresting the CEOs of the companies that hire the undocumented immigrants? That would nip that problem in the bud.
You don't even have to freeze any assets.
Right. Exactly.
It's amazing that none of these people ever mention that.
No.
It's the most obvious thing in the world.
No, he talks about arrest them for DEI. Right. No, you're warm. Arrest them for hiring undocumented immigrants. You'd make that problem go away overnight. I'm 28 years old, and all my conservative friends are done with Trump as well. Nobody's lives are any better. A complete unforced error. He almost died, and God saved him to give us a 50-year mortgages. Where is Trump? Because this isn't him. This is what I mean. Like, he's washed. He is completely washed. That's why, like, a year is an eternity in politics, but absence, something out of the ordinary disrupting life in America and political life in America, i.e. martial law, suspension of elections, extreme voter suppression measures, this is just over. I think they have completely gone off the rails. I think the Iran strike got most of the more serious-minded anti-interventionist, anti-war MAGA people to jump ship. I think the Epstein thing was a massive blow, and I think you saw that in the turnout on Tuesday. I think because he has both terrified the moderates and alienated the base. That's an astounding thing to pull off. Usually, you terrify the moderates by feeding your base, right? You feed your extreme base, and that's what turns off the moderates. No, he's terrified the moderates while also depressing the base with shit like Epstein, with shit about this college. Well, now all of a sudden we have to import Chinese students to save universities? What? I don't remember seeing that in any campaign ads. Astounding self-destruction. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think I've ever seen an implosion like this, ever.
Well, I don't think there's ever been an implosion like this because it's such a unique set of circumstances. You have a situation where the Democrats have stood for nothing for so long and been so bad, even now with caving in the shutdown, something that the people who are really most upset about it seem to be, are their real base, the libs. The libs are freaking out.
Right,
I haven't seen them attack the party like this maybe ever. So what was the political advantage of this? There is none. They were so awful, it allowed this guy to get elected. And really, everyone talked about Kamala's campaign was all about vibes. So was his. More so, even. At least there were some policy papers on her website. What policies did Trump run on other than vaguely promising to brutalize immigrants, something which you have to concede is one promise he fulfilled. But yeah, it's going to be the best healthcare. Yeah, it's going to be the best economy. Yeah, it's going to be the best. That's all he really ran on. He didn't. Trump wouldn't be able to articulate a detailed plan if he tried. It was all vibes. But on the other side, you had the whole Biden-Kamala thing. So he was able, again, Trump never won an election. Democrats lost 2 elections to him by being who they are. Fucking awful. The reason this is imploding so quickly, the reason this is so bad, is it's the logical endpoint of where our politics have been going. Shahid Bolson actually did a reaction video to the Mamdani victory. And he said something I think is very true. The politicians are basically middle management for capital. That's what they are.
Right.
They're there to represent capital and to take the heat for serving capital, right? Blame it on the politician. That's part of the deal, right? You're going to take the blame when you serve capital after people elected you to do things for them. All right, so Trump, like any other politician, he's elected to serve capital. But unlike, say, a guy like Mamdani, or even better example, a guy like Obama, he's too fucking stupid to cover for them. He's too dumb. He's too narcissistic. He's too full of himself to cover for them effectively.
Right.
He's not even able to sell it. He's
Right.
not even able to pretend that this is for people. Yeah, no, but then the universities, he's not able to do what Obama was able to do. Right. Yeah, so we're doing this for the American people, arresting people who lied on their mortgages. We have to keep the banks going, otherwise it's going to hurt Main Street. He's not even able to think that way. It really is. What is it? His niece who said he's the only person she ever met with no redeeming qualities. I think this is what you're seeing now. The guy is supposed to be the front man for capital, and on top of it, because Trump has absolutely no conscience, absolutely no political beliefs, he's controlled by capital to a level that we probably haven't seen since the Gilded Age, if then, where he's not even presenting any kind of restraint at all on Pigman, Lutnick, and Besant and the interests that they represent. So you've got the logical endpoint of just complete, unchecked oligarchs and capital controlling a president who has no real interest in limiting them and is not really a gifted enough politician to cover up the criminal policies that he's helping to enact. That's why this is all blowing up so quickly.
Yes. And he's just personality-wise, and this builds on what you're saying. He is just completely incorrigible. He's not capable of course correction. His message is and this helped him to a large extent because he naturally has what they call in politics message discipline. Message discipline is usually a good thing. But when you're president and you're failing, message discipline can be a curse if you're stuck on the wrong message, which is best economy ever, no matter what. You
just keep repeating it.
You just got blown out.
Democrat
by a party.
hoax.
Yeah. You just got blown out by a party whose approval rating is in the 20s. And you're still going to go with best economy ever? There's no turning that around. There simply is no turning that around.
Please clap.